Hey there, I'm Cerise and this is Storytime. Welcome to my channel. Well, Instagram, social media, a lot of that interaction these days sometimes can be very transparent when you go public. Wow. So, this one story is about a guy named Dean and a woman named Deidre. Deidre is from here in the Dominican Republic. Dean is from America. So, let's just get down to the basics right away. Dean, he's like a lot of American men that come here to the Dominican Republic. He came here and he fell in love not only with the country, but with Deidre. Now, Deidre, she loved Dean, but she knew that he had no desire to live here in the Dominican Republic and also no desire to take her back to America with him. So whenever he came, they would knock boots, have their fun, and enjoy each other's company. But it would soon come to an end after 7 days, and he would be back here again 3 months from now, type of thing, visiting her once again. So she started to really just feel like his booty call and his island booty call. And so she thought, okay, well, you know what? It's fun while it lasts. Why ruin it with expectations? So she really enjoyed being with him, and that was it. Well, the last time he was here, the condom broke, and he was terrified. But she knew that there was no way she could get pregnant at the time because she was menstruating at the time. But he kept saying to her, oh my gosh, make sure, make sure. He didn't know she was menstruating. She was on her last day, so the flow was very light. But she was like, don't worry about it. There's no way, that she could get pregnant on that day. And he's like, please make sure. He's like, please go take the morning after pill. And he went and he took her and he got the morning after pill. For those of you who don't know, the morning after pill does exist here. All right. So they went to the doctor, to the pharmacy. They got the morning after pill and everything was fine. He wasn't panicking as much. And he's like, thank you so much for getting the pill. It really means a lot to me because, I don't want any children right now. But the way he reacted made her feel very uncomfortable. And she's like, so why wouldn't you want a child with me? I could raise the child here in the Dominican Republic. I wouldn't expect anything from you except to just send a few things down to the child every now and again. And he said to her, no, 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 no. I'm a single man. I don't want any children. I never wanted any children. I'm not married. And that is it. And she was like, okay, all right. And she just accepted that as his gospel. Fast forward a little bit. Okay. Now she had him on Instagram, and it was a private account that he had on Instagram. And she would see all his photos and everything he was doing and everything on Instagram. And so she never ever saw any pictures of children, never saw any pictures of family, anything of that nature, just his trips to the Dominican Republic and around the world. Now, remember, I did say he didn't have any plans on moving here or relocating here like many of us do. However, he did love it here and he traveled the world just in general. So that's the pictures that she would see. Now, I took a moment for some little coffee break right there. I love coffee. Make sure you guys go to Puerto Plata and try the coffee from Dominican Coffee Bar and Lounge. Tell Derek and Gina I sent you. This is a plug right here for them. They are awesome. They even have gold cutlery that you can eat their tacos with. I love it. They're very classy. I digress. But okay, so now here she is, and she goes on Dean's Instagram quite often because Dean does travel a lot. So she's always on his Instagram. But one day she got a notification and it shocked her. Deidre just happened to be on her phone and it said from Instagram, a contact or your contact Dean is on Instagram as blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, he started a new Instagram account? That's interesting. Now, when she went to the new account, it wasn't under his name, Dean. It was under his name, Roy. It was his photos, but the name on the account was Roy. And then there were a whole bunch of photos. And it looked like those photos were just put up that day or the night before. And she started to go through them. And she saw him with women. Like it said my sister on one post, and then it said my mom on another post, and she was going down, and then it said my beloved wife who made me make this Instagram because she thinks I would actually cheat on her. That's what it said, like a sarcastic comment. So apparently, his wife made him make an account, an Instagram account. I guess she didn't know about the other one. And she wanted him to go public with it, like not have it as a hidden profile. And he went along with it thinking that other people who have his phone number on Instagram wouldn't be able to find him. He just felt, it's a different name, it's a different country. He's in America. He didn't think any of his island girls would find out about his Instagram profile. Like, how would they? There's millions of Instagram profiles. So she just kind of looked at the profile and she didn't say anything. She let it fly. And then she saw one of the photos where he tagged his wife in it. So she went on to the wife's profile just to check the wife out. And the wife's profile was also open. And she went through the history of their relationship, like photos that he didn't have on his profile, photos of birthday parties and gatherings, and just a lot of stuff that really hurt her heart because she's thinking, this guy, Roy, who she thought was Dean, actually had a whole family the entire time, and he was lying to her. So she kind of looked back on that time when the condom broke and thought to herself, she wants to scare him. She wants to get him back. So she contacted him. And she contacted him on WhatsApp. And she's like, hi. And he's like, hi. And she's like, I don't know what to say. And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, no, you're not. And she said, yes, I am. I'm pregnant and I don't know what to do. And he's like, well, just have an abortion. And she's like, it's illegal here in the Dominican Republic. And he's like, well, how do I know it's mine? And she's like, because you're the only one that I'm with, you know that. I'm not a girl from the streets. He's like, well, I don't know what to say. Like, I can't take care of a baby. And she's like, well, like I told you, I won't ask for much. Just send me money whenever I need it. And that's it. I won't bother your life. I won't get in your way. So he said, all right. He's like, you know what? Just wait till I come down there to visit again and we'll talk about it. Well, he was down here in Sosua within 3 days. He just couldn't wait. He was like, his head was beside himself and he was just like, there's no way he could deal with this. So they ended up talking about it, and she promised him that she wouldn't take advantage of him and that she would only take money every month for diapers and milk because she couldn't breastfeed. She told him that she had implants and everything of that nature. And he was believing all of this. Now, side note here, spoiler alert, she was not pregnant at all. Not at all. But she lied to him. Now, here she starts sending him photos and videos of her belly growing, but it's not really her belly growing. It's just her sticking it out and sticking it out more. And then she started to take photos of her friend. Her friend has a belly, and so she would just take photos of the belly. Now, he got scared and he stopped coming down to the Dominican Republic. He stopped taking trips here to Sosua. He just took trips all around the rest of the world. He didn't even want to get caught at the airport. He was terrified. He didn't know how the laws work here. So he just left it alone and did not visit her any longer. She sensed that, but for her, it was a good thing because he was still sending her a couple of bucks, more like shut up money. And she was still looking at his Instagram account and seeing that, him and his wife are happy in paradise. But Then it also gave her time to hide her pregnancy. So, of course, when the baby was due, she was she was able to get a baby somehow. I mean, there's a lot of babies around. We always know who people who are having kids here in the Dominican Republic. Family is a big thing. So she got her hands on a baby, and she started to show him this baby as the baby started to grow. And month by month, he started to send money like clockwork. And that was it until one day his wife cracked open his WhatsApp. Somehow the wife got into it. He has his WhatsApp on a code. And so anytime you want to get into his WhatsApp, there's a code that you have to press. Now I have that same code, but it only asks me sporadically. So I don't know how he has that code, that two-way verification. But he has it, and his wife cracked into it, and she started to see all of this information. Now, he was keeping the photos and he was keeping all of the information because he felt that there was a possibility that it wasn't his child, but he also didn't want to rock the waters or rock the boat in the waters because she wasn't really asking for a lot of money. She was asking for diapers and milk and clothing. So that was like a few $100 every month. Now, this is not a rich man. He's not a wealthy man, but he is a well-to-do man. Travels a lot, is good in crypto, and has a few real estate properties in America. So he does live very well. And plus, he owns a trucking company. So he does well for himself. But at the same time, if he stopped working today, he would definitely go broke sooner than later. So he does have to work. So his wealth is based upon his drive, his motivation to make money. So handing her down $300 a month was not a lot. But then when the wife found out about all of this, the wife said to him, "Listen, we need to talk." The wife didn't cause a big argument. The wife just said, "Listen, we need to talk." She said, "Number one, I cracked into your WhatsApp. Please, just let's sit down and talk about this. I love you, and I know this happens with men." Now, this woman, she loves her man, and she knew that her man was going around the world and that he obviously was going to sleep around. She knew this, and it wasn't one of their arguments. It's not something she focused on. She just knew in the back of her mind that her husband was the type that was going to go play around, but he was going to leave it where it was and not bring it in her backyard. So when she saw that her husband cheated and that he actually perhaps could have gotten someone pregnant, she sat him down and said, "You must be scared." And he said, "Terrified." And she said, "Listen, this is not something that we had to face in our relationship ever before, and I don't ever want to face this again, but we do need to handle this together." Wow, right? Ladies, all my ladies, what would you ladies do? Hold on, I need to take another little coffee break here. Hold on. Yeah. What would you do if you found that in your man? Not every lady would be a stand-up woman like that and be like, "Babe, I know that you are a man that loves to have a little bit of fun on the side, but this is the first time you ever got caught up. We need to fix this." And so that's what they did. She contacted Deidre, and she contacted her and she said hi, like via WhatsApp. And she said, "Hi, the the wife, and I would just like to let you know that my husband told me, you call him Dean. He told me that you have a child that could be his. So we would like to go forward with the DNA samples, please." And the woman was like, "Who are you? No way. I'm not doing that. Like, Dean has to confront me on it. Dean has to ask me for it." The wife said, "No worries at all. Dean and I will video call you when you're available." And the woman was like, "No, I'm not taking any video calls." And then, of course, the wife is like, "Well, either you're going to take the video calls or we're going to stop sending you money." And Deidre was like, "Well, you can choose what you want to do, but Dean will be in trouble. And, this will become an international problem." And the wife wasn't falling for it. The wife was like, "I don't care." And then Deidre was sending all types of information about his quiet account everywhere he goes, and then, his travel account on Instagram. And then Deidre started to send screenshots of like all of their life and everything, and how the luxury is so awesome that they live in. And so Deidre was like, see, all of this will be taken away from you, because I have people that will be able to do an arrest in the United States and get him to pay for his responsibility in the Dominican Republic. Now, that's a lie. You can't do that. No one can do that. They're not connected. Colombia, I don't know, maybe, but not here in the Dominican Republic. There's no laws like that. But of course, the wife, being the internal investigator that she is, she contacted the embassy, the Dominican Republic embassy. She contacted quite a few people that she knew that were Dominican, because in the States, she lives in a community where there are a lot of wealthy Dominicans. And they all told her the same thing. They were saying to her, yeah, that's not possible. Not at all. There's no way that you are going to be in a position where you will have to pay that money. So, of course, the wife, she had to acknowledge the fact that Deidre was just being desperate. But at the same time, she had to acknowledge the fact that there's a possibility that this is her husband's child. And she did not want to leave a child in the world anywhere that was not being taken care of or cared for by its father. The wife was kind like this. And she said to her husband, she's like, listen, if it is, in the event that it is your child, we need to take care of this child. We can't just let it be raised without a dad and without some type of a future. And Dean, he agreed. So he said, okay, you know what? Let me go down to the Dominican Republic. He's like, you can come with me, but I don't want to put you in any danger. We'll go together. He said, and what we'll do is I will get Deidre to meet up with me and the baby, and I'll see if I can get some type of a hair clipping or some type of a swab of the tongue, with one of those, swabs that you can get from a DNA clinic. So the wife thought that was an amazing idea. They were on the flight the next week, and he told Deidre that he was going to plan a trip soon, so be prepared, but he didn't tell her when, because he really didn't want to get stopped at the airport if that was even a possibility. So they get here, and they got here safe and fine. No stopping at the airport. They really don't do that. And so he gets to the hotel room, and he knows where Deidre likes to hang out. He knows everywhere she likes to go. So he gets to the hotel room with his wife, and he told his wife, okay, you know what, just stay by the pool today. Let me go walk around, find a couple of her friends, and do my investigation. And he did. He found her within hours. And when he found her, they sat down, and he's like, where's the baby? Of course, she didn't have the baby because it's not her child. And she's like, the baby's in Santiago with my aunt. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to be here for a week. I want to see my baby. He's like, because remember, there's a possibility that it is his, right? So he's like, I want to see my baby. You're going to have to go get my baby and bring my baby here to Sosua. So she did. She did. She went to Santiago that very same day. He got her a driver. Santiago is only a couple hours away, if that. So he got her a driver, and she went and she picked up a kid, and she brought the kid back to Sosua. Must have been a family member or something, right? She brings the kid back to Sosua. Now, when she brought the kid back to Sosua, she brought the kid back to Sosua with another woman, because the driver was not her friend. The taxi driver was Dean's friend, a Dominican guy that Dean has met throughout the years, and he's Dean's personal driver. Whenever he's here, he drives Dean all around the island. So, of course, he reported back to Dean, and he's like, she came back with another woman, right? Even before they got back to Sosua, this driver messaged Dean and said, hey, by the way, she's in the car with another woman. Like, it seems like this baby is the other woman's baby. And then Dean was like, okay, all right. So then when she showed up, she didn't have that woman with her. But she did meet Dean, and Dean felt like she didn't even know what she was doing with this baby. She didn't even know the baby was now about 11 months old. So she had no clue, right? And he looked at her, and he's like, the baby was crying, the baby was upset, and he's like, the baby's tired. Like, he's like, here, give me the baby. And he took care of the baby, and the baby took to him immediately. So right away, he felt like maybe it is his child. You know how we can convince our brains of that? So he's like, maybe it is my child. He took a couple of photos with the baby. He bonded with the baby throughout the day, and he didn't have a chance to do the swab. So she said to him she has to get the baby back to Santiago because it's at a babysitter's and she has work the next day. So he said to her, okay, forget work. He's like, just stay here for the week. He told her that he would pay her for the week and also put her up in a nice hotel with his son. And oh, by the way, the baby was a boy, with his son. And, she can stay there for the rest of the week and he'll visit the baby every day. So he did that. And the wife just chilled. Like, the wife, she was just allowing him to bond. She wasn't on jealous mode. He spent about 4 hours a day with the baby, and they would go to the beach. He wasn't in the hotel room with Deidre. He was just on the beach, and he was actually taking videos of himself and sending them to the wife. At one point, this might even sound shady, at one point, the wife even went on the beach and she was able to watch them from afar. And she was able to see them interact. And she even felt like the baby was his. The baby looked like him. But come on, babies always look like whoever, right? We can never say by looks alone. So he never did get the chance during that whole trip to be able to do the swab. Not 1 minute. It's almost like she knew what he was up to. So he had to go back to America without getting the swab or any type of hair sample or anything like that. He tried to pull the hair out at one point, but his heart just couldn't let him do it. And then he tried to get the swab, and he just couldn't do it. And he didn't know how else to do it. Like, feed the baby and save the spoon. That's what I said to him. I was like, why didn't you just feed the baby like with the spoon and then put the spoon away or something? At least you get some type of saliva sample. And he was like, Cerise, I didn't even think of any of that. All I could think about was the swab, and it was hard to take it out of the package, get it into the kid's mouth, swab, and then put it back in the package without Deidre watching. She was watching 24/7. Well, the whole time that they were together. And of course, because it wasn't her baby, she probably wasn't allowing him to just sit there alone with the baby. She even took the baby to the washroom with her, into the water, constantly had that baby on her hip. Only time it wasn't on her hip is when he had the baby on his lap and, chilled with the baby. But at the same time, she was right there the whole time. Okay, so he gets back to America, and him and his wife are both agreeing that the baby looks just like him. So they're continuing to send money. And then after about 2 months more, the baby's about a year old, he's thinking to himself, he needs to know if it's his child, because if it is, he wanted to bring his baby to the States and his baby have dual citizenship, meet his siblings, since the wife was so cool with it. So he said, all right, you know what? Let me just go back down to the Dominican Republic and let me go, see the baby again. And this time at least get something, like something. So he contacted Deidre ahead of time, and he's like, hey, I'm this time he told her beforehand, and he told her that he's going to go down to the Dominican Republic and he wants to meet her here. And he did. This time his wife didn't come with him. She also owns a business and she was very busy, but she trusted her husband some way, somehow. And so he did come down, and this time he gave her $1,000, and he told her, just, take this for your rent, because she needed rent all the time and she was always going through things, always going through things. So he told her, take this money. And she was like, okay, well, I don't want to have all this money on me. And she's like, can we go to the bank together? And he's like, yeah. He's like, let's go to the bank, because I also want to put a couple of 100 more in the bank for my son. And she's like, all right. So they went to Banco Popular together, and they were sitting down. Now, in Banco Popular in Sosua, there's this couch area, and you can sit on the couches, and the person goes and stands in the lineup. So at one point, her back was to him, And he was waiting and waiting for that cue. And the lineup is long, so it's not like she could keep turning around and face him or anything. So as soon as her back was to him, he pulled out the swab, swabbed the baby's mouth, closed it back up, and everything was good. And then she was done. She deposited the money in her bank account, and then they went to the beach. Now, he only had 2 more days. During that 2 days, he bonded with the baby even more, and he felt so guilty for even taking the swab, because at this point he was convinced that it was his baby, and the baby loved him and he loved the baby, and he felt like, wow, this is my child. And the baby even looked like his other children. Amazing, right? But when he got home and he got the results from the DNA swab, the chances of him being the father were zero. Zero. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it at all, to the point where he actually booked another trip for a month later to get another swab, because he thought it was a negative. He thought it was just a negative test. The test was, no good. Maybe the people in the clinic, in the DNA clinic, they didn't test it properly. So he wanted a second test from a second opinion, a second DNA clinic. And that's what he did. He went down to get results again, took it to the other DNA clinic when he got back home. And once again, the chances of him being the father were zero. And he thought to himself, wow, and he wanted me to tell this story because he believed that the child was his. He believed that his wife believed that the child was his. They're both even shocked right now because the baby looks so much like their own children when their own children were babies. So at the end of the day, that's a pretty chunky story right there, right? Just be careful, guys. Always be careful. Double up on the condoms, or, I mean, obviously that might take away the pleasure, but double up on the common sense. And remember, everyone's out there playing a game, no matter where it is around the world, but just be sure to keep your wits about you and be wise to never be taken. I'm wondering what your comments are. Put them down below. Tell me what you would do if you were Dean. And also tell me what you would do if you were Dean's wife. We gotta just hand an award to her. I guess she feels like she has a man and she loves him. And again, if he's not crapping in her own backyard, what she doesn't see doesn't bother her. And she too said to me, she's like, Cerise, I wanted to just, lay into him. She's like, but when everything is said and done, and when we gather up all the pluses in our relationship, she's like, I didn't want that one negative to just tear us apart. So that was her reasoning. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Cerise. This is my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so. Hit that like button because I know a lot of you do like Storytime. There is a Storytime playlist and it is down in the description. Click on it and you can see all the rest of the story times, or you can wait till the end screen on this video and click on the end screen video and it will take you directly to the playlist. Take care of yourself, guys. Make sure you take care of the people around you as well. Huge hugs, loads of love, big blessings. This is a paid promotion from Dominican Bar and Lounge in Puerto Plata. Go visit them. They have wonderful big bang breakfasts. They have specials every single day. And also, you can get yourself some wonderful coffees and some wonderful cold drinks. There's a great atmosphere there for catering as well. Make sure that you contact them because this is something that you don't want to miss out on. Pedro Clisante in Puerto Plata, number 68. Are you interested in advertising on my YouTube channel? You can do that now. $100 a month will get you advertising on my channel. And not only that, I will advertise you on Facebook and also LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. Guys, this is a great way for you to offer yourself and your brand online internationally, all the way from the Dominican Republic and around the world. I have viewers that are all the way from Africa, India, China, Canada, America, Germany, Italy, France, Jamaica, and also Trinidad and I am sorry if I'm missing your country, but you know that you are watching this video from where you are. So if you're watching this video, then you know other people from around the world are. Give me a shout and I can help you out by advertising on my YouTube channel with a paid promotion. Take care, guys. We'll talk soon. Huge hugs, loads of love, big blesses.
Love is a rainbow. Your love makes me